time for another What Does This Button Do show. This is episode number 60. Hard to believe. And it is 2 o'clock Eastern Time.
Or 59 and a half, depending on how.
This is an educational show about smartphones and tablets with Geeks on Tour. Very cool. Well, how do we get rid of him?
There we go.
Right. Well, that's wonderful. Hi, I'm Jim, and together with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? Do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
We are geeks, that's what propeller head means, who teach. And we think the best way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So that's why we do this weekly show. In between times, you can go to our website, geeksontour.com, and see all of our content there.
Okay. So where are we today?
We're still in Fort Lauderdale. We're going to be here a lot over this winter. And we're in our worldwide studio, as you can see from our clocks up on the wall.
Okay. All right, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So today's show, we'll have a tip of the day as YouTube playlists that Chris is going to talk about. Our beginner's lesson will continue from last week with what do you do with your old smartphones? The app of the week will be a Google router. That's something new that we're hoping will help our show here in our studio. If you have questions, ask them in the comments. The show is recorded on YouTube and on our Geeks on Tour channel. You can always find the links, geeksontour.com/weekly show.
So who are we, Geeks on Tour? It's just Jim and me. You know, nothing to do with Geek Squad and Best Buy or anything like that. Our website is geeksontour.com, and you can find out everything there. We invite you to click on our little moving faces on that homepage, and there's a little intro video. Okay. Quick tip today is about YouTube and playlists, and specifically how to get to the playlist of our shows. In case you weren't watching last week, the beginning of today's show is back there because we ended up losing internet connection and not being able to get it back. And the Google router, which Jim will talk about at the end of the show, is what we've done to try to remedy that situation. So, YouTube on smartphones and how to specifically get to the Geeks on Tour playlist. That's my quick tip. And I'm going to show you on my phone.
Okay.
And he's just going to switch over here so that you can see it. And if you have any questions, do make sure to put them in the comments there. Okay, so this is my Samsung Android phone, and YouTube is an app that is installed. Very easy to find it on the alphabetical because it's all the way at the end. I can just scroll all the way to the end.
On an Android.
On an Android, I tap on YouTube, and you'll see the content that YouTube is currently promoting. So how do you find something in particular? You tap on the little search button, the magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner, and then, of course, you're going to search for Geeks on Tour. And you should find us pretty easily. On mine, it comes right to the top of the screen, the one that has our little caricature logo. It says 173 videos and 1793 subscribers. Tap there, and you are now seeing our channel. But the easiest way to find a particular episode of What Does This Button Do is to tap on playlists, because there is a playlist for What Does This Button Do. And here, very easy, there's episode 59, 58, 57, 56, etc., etc. and with just a few words of description as far as what the beginner's lesson was in that show. So we think this is a great way for you to catch up and just find something that maybe you want to review. On the iPad, same thing. So the purpose here is just to prove that, yes, indeed, it works just the same on iPhone, iPad as it does on the Android. You do need the YouTube app. So if you don't have that, you would go to your app store and get it. It's free. So there's the YouTube app. And same thing, the search is the little magnifying glass in the upper right. And he turned off my Wi-Fi. Okay, so let me do it on his iPhone instead.
That's right.
There we go.
Talked about that.
Yes, we did. We did. I forgot. All right, so we're looking for YouTube, which I think, now how do you find something if you're going buggy on a, well, there it is. But I could have done the spotlight search. Just swipe down on the screen, type YOU, and there's YouTube. And there's the search icon. Type Geeks On Tour. And there we are. And there's playlists. What does this button do, playlist? From 1 through to 59 are all there, and I say with a brief description of the topic. But now, if you are a Geeks On Tour member, you'll be much better served by going to our website. What's our website?
Geeksontour.com.
Geeksontour.com. And tap on the menu item for weekly show. Now that part works slightly different on a phone. It has to readjust the screen so that you can see things. And I seem to be hung up. Anyway, if you go to weekly show, there is a listing of all our weekly shows there. And there we go, weekly show, okay. And if you are a member, you can click on the link that says video with show notes. And then you have all the show notes for the weekly shows instead of just the YouTube video. Okay, so that's my tip of the week.
And we do invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It would be very handy to have all of that information. Okay.
Okay, so our beginner's lesson.
The beginner's lesson today, what to do with all the old smartphones. So you've gotten a new smartphone, and a lot of folks out there are just starting to get into their, second or maybe even third smartphone. And it is just something that, you have to deal with. You got this new smartphone. Your old smartphone probably doesn't work because the battery doesn't take a charge anymore. What do you do with that old smartphone?
You find a way to keep it plugged in, for one. And then maybe, what Jim likes to do, and I think this is really tricky, is to put a little piece of Velcro on the back. And then you can even just find a place on your wall to stick it on the wall. And this can be a clock radio. Now, we did start this lesson last week, so there's something that we're going to go a little quickly over the beginning stuff, but that's one thing, is a clock radio. And then let's just go through the slides first, and then I'll demonstrate a couple of things.
Emergency phone.
So an emergency phone to leave in the car, this we did show you last week, that even a deactivated phone by law has to be able to make 911 calls. So you can still, as long as you can have power on it and turn it on, you can tap the phone, dial 911, and get through. So leave it in the glove box. And also think about it, if you're in an accident, it can also be a camera to take pictures of the screen, because it's a camera regardless of what it's going on with it. It doesn't have to have an internet connection. It does still have to have power, so that might be an issue. And if you put music files on it, it can be an MP3 player and play that through your car radio.
Okay.
Now, in any case, you want to wipe the phone clean.
Okay, yeah.
And that's going to be our beginner's lesson for next week, I've decided, is how to do a factory reset. You want to completely wipe it clean, get rid of all of your data that's on it, get rid of your account information. And then if you want to use it just like a Wi-Fi only tablet, you can put your account information back on it. You can attach it to Wi-Fi. Now it's just like a Wi-Fi tablet. But if you want to give it to your kids, then you don't want them to get on Wi-Fi, maybe. You don't want them to have your account in there, but they can still use it as a camera, a clock, and any games that have already been downloaded.
Sure.
So those are two ways to wipe it out.
Okay.
All right. Now the SIM card one.
Okay.
Now, if your old phone is still pretty good, you can actually make it a new phone again.
Right.
Just get a new SIM card. The SIM card is what gives you an account with a cellular provider. And we did a whole show on that because we used different SIM cards when we were over in Europe. So this is a great idea for international travelers. Just keep your old phone around and buy SIM cards wherever you go. The SIM card themselves are just usually $1 or $2, and then you have to pay for service for wherever you're at. And that was episode number 43, if you want to see how to insert a SIM card and use it. Music, this was one of your favorites.
Right. I really like listening to Pandora, but the speakers out of these little devices aren't that great. But you can still use the Bluetooth radio that's on there. And as long as you have a good Wi-Fi connection, you can play Pandora or any of the music streaming stations out there, and you can choose your own channels.
Yeah, now for that, you do need to have Wi-Fi and you need to have an account. Right. So basically, you're using your old phone like you would a Wi-Fi only tablet.
Right. You just hook it up to some good speakers and you're set.
Yeah, and episode 24 is when we talked about how to set up Bluetooth to things like speakers.
Okay, how about a dedicated video phone in the kitchen?
Now, here's one of my favorites. I haven't actually, we really don't use this much, but boy, it seems like a good idea. And I'm wondering if Bill Osborne there would be up for a call to see if we can make this work.
Oh, here we go.
So first of all, to have this as in your kitchen, either Velcro it to the wall or put it on a stand. Are they seeing me right now?
Yep.
All sorts of stands you can buy. You know, here's one that will suction cup to a counter. Mm-hmm. And it's built to hold an iPad mini, but if you just put one of these little sticky pads on it, then it can hold a phone.
Hold the phone.
Hold the phone. I think those little sticky pads are just way cool.
They are.
And you can just take them off. Or even just, I found this at the checkout stand at a Walgreens. It's a little stand. Mm-hmm. There. So you can just stand that on the counter, and either your current phone or an old phone attached to Wi-Fi, you can use Google Hangouts and make a video call to somebody else who has Google Hangouts.
Right. And if it's an iDevice, like an old iPhone, you can use
FaceTime. If the person you're calling also has an Apple device, and FaceTime. So yeah, think about it like a phone extension in the kitchen.
Okay.
Okay.
camera and other static apps. By static, you mean something that's already on the...
That's already on the phone. Yeah, does not need any kind of internet connection, does not need any kind of account set up on the phone. You just wipe the phone, reset it to factory defaults, do not put an account on it, and then you can give it to a kid to use as a camera. If you want to give them some games also, you can set up your account, download some games, and then remove your account. Realize that there's also a flashlight, a magnifying glass, you know, just a really handy thing for a kid to have if you're not going to do anything else with your old phone.
Yeah.
Put it to use.
Great idea.
Oh, and then digital photo frame. This is a great one for really more for an old tablet because you want a bigger screen. And that one, I think I will show you. Can we?
Yep.
Once again, this is something that your device can do after you have wiped it out, factory reset it, and you do not need to even set up any kind of an account. As long as you do have photos on the device, there may even be something built into the device that will do a slideshow, but I looked up choices for an iPad and found this Picmatic. So whatever pictures are on the device, yeah, notice that it puts a nice big clock on the screen as well. So think about this, Velcroed to your wall or on a little bedside stand.
Sure.
And this is a free
Probably
app.
best for tablets.
Exactly.
Bigger screen.
Exactly. Bigger screen. And this one does have some way to unlock and get full screen pictures. I didn't go that far. Its default is this cute little four corners set of pictures.
Things move. I wonder if you can put music on at the same time.
I think you can. You might have to pay a few dollars. I just used the free app. But speaking of music and clock, so this tablet, this iPad right now is not connected to the internet. And it doesn't even have to have any account information to be operating as a digital photo frame. Now, this old phone, this is my old Razor. And this one I do have connected to Wi-Fi. Let me show you that. So if I go into settings and Wi-Fi is on and it is connected to an access point here in the house. So it does have Wi-Fi and I do have my account set up on this. So I could, with this old phone, make a video call. Are you ready, Bill?
Oh, here we go.
I'm going to give it a shot. I saw that Bill. So this is Google Hangouts. This is an app that you have to get. Let's see if I can make that any clearer. Yeah. That's about it. Let me get that up there. There we go. So I can choose to send him a text message or just to make a voice call or to make a video call. And we're calling Bill, who is in New Mexico last I knew. And we'll see. But what I want you to think about, there we go.
Watch out for mute.
I can choose to send a text message, or just make a voice call, or to make.
Oh, so yeah. Hi guys, you're on the air.
We're calling Bill, who was in New Mexico last time.
Oh, there's Winston. So did you just turn the camera around to show me Winston?
Getting a lot of feedback.
They both. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, so hi guys.
Well, you know, we're on a call, within a call, within a call. So that was a little bit tough, but thank you for playing along, Bill and Chris. And what I hope maybe you were able to see there was at one point, instead of seeing Bill's face, we were seeing his dog, Winston, which was the other way. That's what using a phone rather than a computer for a video call can allow you to do. So if you have this in the kitchen, for example,
You have a phone? Or...
you could start a video call, talk to your friend who taught you how to cook, and then pick the phone off the wall, turn the camera around and say, does this look right? You know, you can show what you're making.
What is that mess?
So using an old phone for a video caller, I think is a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
We have some questions.
We have a couple of comments here. Let's see if I can get that on the screen. Part of it. Yeah. From my old Droid Bionic, which I kept when I went to the Droid Turbo, I'd gotten Google Cardboard VR Viewer. My goodness, she's a geek. Just got my new Viewmaster Virtual Reality Starter Kit. Even better.
Oh my. So you're using an old phone for virtual reality?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, what she's talking about is a 3D viewer like the old Viewmasters. It was a cardboard cutout thing, and you just create your own. It's really pretty fun. All right.
Okay, yeah, so that's good to know. Right, a Christmas gift for your favorite geek. They have to be really geeky.
All right, here's an important one. David Cross says, my Foxfi quit working. Is yours still okay? David, no, it's not. It's broken. Both of our Foxfis are off right now. We're trying to figure it out. I don't know what we'll be able to do about that, but we're working on it. And hello.
Yeah, I checked the Foxfi website, and they still say that it should be working, but yeah, it seemed to just change yesterday or today. So you can still use it plugged in, but not in
USB,
Wi-Fi
right?
mode.
Okay.
Have you checked the new Google Plus Photos release this week? Is all okay? First of all, it's not Google Plus Photos anymore. Google Plus is out of the picture. It is just Google Photos. And they are upgrading all the time because it's brand new product. And yes, they added a couple of features this week that people have been clamoring for, and it all works fine for me. I think all is okay. Yes, I would do the upgrade if I were you.
Okay. All right, so that was that one. Had to give up my Galaxy for an iPhone 6S. Samsung made me ship my Note S to Texas for repairs while it was under a full warranty. Oh, I hate when, you have this warranty and they want you to ship stuff away, and they should just replace that stuff. That's kind of crazy. So,
I'm sure you'll love your iPhone 6S too.
They're wonderful phones, absolutely. And they make really
but
good
not
cameras.
If there's things you were used to.
That's the thing. When you go from Android to iOS or the other way around, there's a learning curve, and that's what we're all about here at Geeks on Tour. Okay.
It says comments are disabled on the YouTube site. That's not good.
Yeah, comments are disabled on the YouTube site when we are live, and that is something that just happened on YouTube. So if you want to make comments, it'll only work apparently here on the Google Plus event page. And
if you can't, if you're watching this because of the email that I send out to our Geeks on Tour list, I don't specifically say the Google Plus site. I say if you want to RSVP, that link goes to the Google Plus site. So now I know I should make sure to mention that and say if you want to be able to comment, you have to use that link.
That's new. So It may have been a couple of weeks, but it's fairly new.
Google Hangouts also just divorced from Google
it's
Plus
crazy.
this week and is all brand new.
And so we're all on a learning curve. Isn't that fun? All right, how about a beginner's lesson? Well, we just have kind of a list here that we can kind of go down.
All right, so just to review what to do with an old phone.
Yeah.
You can sell it or recycle it, and we talked about that last week. Just Google for how to sell my phone or how to recycle my phone. Lots of places you can go. You can donate your phone, and if you want to keep it, giving it to kids might be a good idea. They can use it for a camera, for games. You can give it to your parents to use as an emergency phone in their car, or you can keep it yourself and use it like a Wi-Fi only tablet. Probably just for one purpose, because they're still not all that great.
Right, and an older phone is going to be a little bit slower too, so that's all the time.
Yeah, you have to take into account the condition of the screen, the battery, how fast it's operating, whether the Wi-Fi still works. No matter what, you want to do a factory reset and clean it up, and that will be our topic for next week.
Yep.
You can also use the camera as a surveillance camera. There are apps, so rather than get a whole special webcam, just use an old phone if you can get it attached to power. And there are apps. I forget the name, but if you just Google for security camera smartphone apps, you will find stuff. You can use it as a remote for the television. We've had that on an episode once.
Yeah.
Home automation.
Has an infrared.
Home automation is, you have that on here, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So Jim has set up what kind of automatic lights, and well, just lights so far, right? Okay. And he has that app on his real phone.
Focus.
But that means his real phone has to be around. This would be a great use for an old phone. Where is it? Is it under Wink or?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to use search and type WINK. And this is pretty cool. From this one device, I can see that the dining room light is on and the kitchen light is on.
You can turn those off.
If I want to turn them off, I just tap, and those lights are now off. And where could you do this from?
Anywhere in the world, as long as you're connected to an internet connection. And as long as everything needs to be connected. And this is the Internet of Things that we're going to be starting to talk more and more about. So controlling your house, you can control lights, you can control appliances, you can even control locks to get in the door, and sensors to see what's going on, and cameras. So if you're interested in home automation, this stuff it's been around for a long time, but it's really getting a lot easier now with apps on your phone. And we'll be highlighting some of these apps as we go along.
So this could be an older phone Velcroed to the wall right by the door, right, and just tap, tap, tap. And when you're leaving, you could just turn off all lights. Oops, luckily no lights in this room are on this, right?
We've gone dark. Wouldn't be the first time.
So that's home automation. An emergency phone an old phone can be used as an emergency phone for the car. A music player with Wi-Fi and something like Pandora, or without Wi-Fi and downloaded songs.
Okay.
Kitchen clock radio and a photo frame. That's our list of ideas. And if you just Google for what to do with an old phone, you're going to find lots more.
Okay, we may be old dogs, but we do learn new tricks, and we can teach you. Right. No more questions?
No more questions?
No.
Okay. Then you ready to go on to your new toy?
Yeah, let's talk about my new Google router with OnHub. And where am I? There I am. So I got this new router. We had such problems with our show last week, and I narrowed it down to one of our channels on my old router died, so I had to get a new router. This is a Google router. It's new. It's made by Asus and TP-Link, and the really cool part about it is that it is Google, and it has all kinds of sensing technology so that it will smooth streaming and speedy downloads for all your devices. And we have as many as 13 devices connected here, not for the show, but between shows. And it's real easy to set up. You have to have an app on the phone, and it is the OnHub app. And it's there for both Android and Apple devices. And you can see all kinds of information. It keeps itself updated automatically without interrupting any of your settings. So we have it connected to our fiber internet connection in the house. And it gives us Wi-Fi in both the 5 gigahertz frequency and in the 2.4, the standard hotspot.
So you can actually have different devices on the different frequencies so that they don't conflict with each other.
And you can even prioritize one of the devices for, say, for our show. I didn't do it this time, but I think I might for the next one to see if there's a big difference. Prioritize one device, like one computer that we run the show on, and then the other devices will get it. And the reason for that is if you're streaming like a Netflix show and you want to have all of the bandwidth for one device to show the Netflix or some other streaming movie, something like that, you can do that with this device.
And it's also just more powerful than most routers, right?
It is the most powerful router that I know of out there, and everything seems to be working well.
Can it use Wi-Fi as a source, or do you have to plug an Ethernet cable into it?
This will not use Wi-Fi as a source.
Okay,
you have to have a modem.
So this isn't for RVers.
No, this is not for RVers. We would need some other type of bridge that makes a Ethernet connection, and then you could use it, but kind of not the thing. It's $200. You get really good, smooth streaming, speedy downloads. It has a bunch of antennas. One of the antennas, its whole job is just to listen to other Wi-Fi hotspots and to pick the least used channel so that it gets the best connection. Yeah, let's see.
Wow.
Put that slide up if I can.
Well, that's just for discussion points. Want to show this?
Okay.
So you can't set it up from a computer like you do most routers, right?
Right. It does not have a web interface the way most routers do. It has an app, and it's real easy. You just plug it into the modem, so your Ethernet cable in your internet connection, and you download the app onto your smartphone, and you plug it all in, and then you just run the app. It'll discover the device. It will let you put in the passwords that you want to use, and it's really an intuitive interface to get the thing going. It'll do speed tests, and it'll just make sure that everything's working.
So I tap on 6 devices, and here I can see the names of all the 6 devices that are currently attached.
Pretty cool.
And I tap on internet, and what do I get? Nothing. Oh, that's the top level. All right. OnHub. And it's giving you the speeds that are going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's been working.
It's been working. And we got through a whole nother show, so that's a good thing. All right.
Okay.
And did you learn something?
I hope so, but here's some questions just to see if, to review. Before repurposing an old phone, you need to...
We need to wipe it out.
You need
That's
to...
the most important thing we think that you should do with an old phone before you repurpose it. Just clean it off. There's probably nothing on there that you need. Everything that you need is on your new phone, so you can clean it off. That way you can set it up for whatever specialized purpose you want.
Yeah, even if you're keeping it yourself, I say do a factory reset and reset it up for your account, because
I like that idea.
an old phone just gets bogged down. Number 2.
To use your old phone as a stationary video phone, you need 3 things.
Well, you will need Wi-Fi,
Okay.
because it doesn't have a cellular connection.
You need an internet connection.
And you need an app that will do phone calls. So FaceTime on iPhones,
Google Plus,
or Google Hangouts on any kind of device. And then you'll need an account. And you might also need power if you have a low battery.
That's the way it is on my devices, right? So name 3 things you can do with an old phone that does not require Wi-Fi or an account set up.
Camera. They are great cameras, so why not use it? What a great way. Christmas gift for a kid. Teach him how to use it. It can be an emergency phone. By law, all cell phones, whether they have an account with a wireless provider or not, must process 911 calls.
But you have to be in the vicinity of a cell tower. It's not going to work by magic.
Right. It will not work on the mountaintop with no internet.
And how can your old phone become a new phone again?
By getting a new SIM card.
Yeah. So not all phones use SIM cards. Most of the newest ones do. But you can just take the old SIM card out, put a new SIM card in, and have it set up with a different...
You have a new phone, or you have a different country's phone. We have friends who do a lot of international travel, and they say they have a little Ziploc bag full of SIM cards.
Yeah.
One from every country. Whichever country they're in, that's the SIM card that goes in the phone.
How do they label them? I wonder if they...
Yeah, because they're so tiny.
Okay. If you don't want to reuse your phone, what are 2 things you can do?
You can, well, there's actually 3. You can recycle. I mean, I understand that Best Buy and other computer stores have a box right at the front. Just throw in your old phones and they'll see that it gets used right. But you can also donate them, or even sell them. If it's in good shape, you can sell them. Just Google for how to sell my old smartphone and you will see several places. And I've put a few of those links into the show notes from last week.
All right. So what's the webpage that lists all of our weekly shows, Chris?
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is weekly show.
And the webpage that lists all of our recent newsletters.
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is blogs, articles. Newsletters is under there.
Okay. And what benefits do you get by joining Geeks on Tour?
Well, you get access to all of our tutorial videos, the prepared tutorial videos, and you get to ask questions in the members Q&A and the show notes for all of these live What Does This Button Do shows.
And we promise to respond to those questions that are asked in the forum. We don't promise to answer the question, but we do promise to respond. So
we don't always know the question, the answer.
Well, we always know the answer. We'll make something up, right? Okay. So we do invite you to become a member. I think it's really important. Go to geeksontour.com. We are member supported. You guys can take care of that online. So next time, November 29th. So that's right after Thanksgiving. So if we can move, it'll be episode 61.
I expect that we shouldn't have a problem doing a show on the Sunday after Thanksgiving. And what we're going to do is how to reset mobile devices to factory defaults, how to wipe them clean. In the computer world, we call that formatting. So that's what you need to do with old phones. We'll show you how.
Okay.
Or sometimes just to give life to your current phone. If it's bogged down a lot, doing a factory reset can be a good idea.
All right. So let's see. Watch for the notification for next week's show. Be sure to click that you're coming. Leave any questions in the comments on the Google Plus event page, and we'll try and get to them from there. And okay, Geeks on Tour, technology training.
See you next week.
On what does
What does that button do?
Don't
How
touch
about
that.
this button?
You gonna
You
touch
know, I
that
don't
button?
have to touch any buttons to screw things up. I can just sit here.
Okay.
What does this button do?
See you next week. Bye-bye.